Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12 o'clock on this Thursday, September 4th. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. The news here at noon is sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. And our top story this hour is happening right now. The nation's health secretary appearing before a congressional committee facing tough questions over the turmoil at the Atlanta-based CDC and vaccine policy. Steve Kathan has more.
CBS News Special Reports. A heckler interrupts Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s testimony to a Senate committee. Critics who want him fired as HHS secretary turned up outside the Capitol. Kennedy is under fire for vaccine policy and firings at the CDC.
These changes were absolutely necessary adjustments to restore the agency to its role as the world's gold standard public health agency.
Oregon Democrat Ron Wyden accused Kennedy of replacing scientists with vaccine skeptics and conspiracy theorists.
He said, and I quote, that he would do nothing as HHS secretary that makes it difficult or discourages people from taking vaccines. That was clearly not true.
Oregon is joining with California and Washington in a vaccine alliance. Florida has moved to end vaccine mandates for kids.
And I have just talked with the Georgia Department of Public Health, and they tell me that the state still does not have the updated COVID vaccine, and they're waiting on recommendations and guidance from the CDC, and they will not administer the shots until they get that guidance. Also, CDC is urging providers to discontinue the use of the 24-25 COVID vaccine and go ahead and destroy any unused product to minimize the risk of vaccine errors. The CDC's advisory committee, by the way, is expected to meet on September 18th and 19th. We, of course, will be covering that and see what they say. All right, your weather for today, partly cloudy, isolated rain showers are possible. That chance of rain right there around 30%, says Channel 2 Action News meteorologist Brad Nitz. Your highs around 87. But how's the weekend looking? Well, we'll have Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast. That comes your way at 12:05. A house fire turns into the scene of a deadly shooting involving a Locust Grove police officer today.
Police and fire crews made entry into a home on Cadence Drive to put out the flames and look for anyone inside. They encountered a man armed with a large knife who refused orders to drop the weapon.
After several attempts to de-escalate the situation, refused to drop the knife, and ultimately he was shot by a Locust Grove police officer and was pronounced dead there at the scene.
Police Chief Derek Austin says police then found the body of a woman upstairs, as well as 3 other members of the household, including the grandmother of the armed man hiding in a bedroom. They were safely removed from the home. The GBI and arson investigators are now reviewing evidence from the scene. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
In Smyrna, police there now say that they are treating the discovery of a woman's body inside a burning apartment building as a homicide investigation. This happened at a complex off Wendy Hill Road. The small fire was contained to a single unit, but firefighters found the woman dead inside. Arson investigators are also looking into the blaze. The woman's name has not yet been released. It's been a year after a gunman opened fire inside Appalachia High School in Barrow County, and community members say healing is an ongoing process.
Kira McConaughey was a senior at Appalachia at the time of the shooting. Now in college, she says her experience has changed her perspective.
I am very aware of my surroundings, whether it is seeing how the doors do not lock at college campuses, asking my professor if we do drills.
Layla Contreras, whose mother and sister were at the school during the shooting, says,
"We will not forget. We will not stop. And together, we will keep moving forward."
Other remembrances are planned in Barrow County today. From the state capitol, Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
And we have learned today that a judge has now set a date for the trial of the accused shooter's father.
Barrow County Superior Court Judge Nicholas Prem sets Colin Gray's trial for February 9th next year. That was originally supposed to begin next week, but was put on hold because of scheduling conflicts. His trial will be held in Barrow County, but a jury will be brought in from Hall County. That after an earlier request from the defense for a change of venue. Gray faces a list of charges for allegedly buying the gun used by his son Colt Gray in that shooting that left 4 dead and 9 injured. Colin has pleaded not guilty. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
All right, new here at noon, I have a scam alert to tell you about. If you get a text message, it appears to be from Apple Pay saying that there's an unauthorized transaction. Don't open it or reply to it. This is a scam. You want to just delete that message. It's a scam that first started earlier this year, but it is starting to show up again. So again, if you get that text message, delete it. Do not reply to it. A new study published in the journal JAMA finds that a tablet form of LSD can melt away severe anxiety. Some 60 million people suffer from generalized anxiety disorder, and many are unaware that it is treatable. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow is up 219 at 45,487. NASDAQ and S&P also in positive territory. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the 24-hour traffic center.
Hey, Sabrina, we're still watching this travel advisory up through Woodstock due to left lane construction, 575 northbound between Highway 92 and Town Lake Parkway. It has got the brake lights really in full force back to Bells Ferry Road. Go ahead and think about using Highway 5 as an alternate. You also have construction in the left lane on the 400 southbound ramp to I-85 southbound. That's causing delays between Buckhead and Midtown. And still seeing some brake lights on the east side perimeter, 285 southbound, sluggish leaving East Ponce and Clarkston down past Glenwood Road. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
All right, now your 5-day forecast, sponsored here at noon by Shoemate, the official air conditioning of Atlanta.
Isolated showers and storms today, otherwise partly cloudy, high 87. Mostly sunny, hot and dry tomorrow, low 70, high 92. And then partly cloudy with some scattered showers and storms in the afternoon. Saturday's rain chance 40%, low 71, high 90. 5-day forecast for Sunday and Monday, partly cloudy with only isolated storms. Sunday, rain chance 30%, high 86. And then mostly cloudy with a 20% chance of rain Monday, high 79. I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz, 95.5 WSB.
More news at 12:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Okay, friends, it's the 5K a day bonus blitz. The noon keyword is fix. F-I-X, fix. Enter the keyword fix into the WSB Radio app or online at WSBradio.com/cash. You have until 12:30 p.m. to enter the keyword and win $1,000. The keyword is fix, F-I-X. And don't forget, if you get a phone call after 12:30 from a number you don't recognize, answer it. It could be us telling you won $1,000. The keyword is fix. Good luck.
Hello, America. I am back from New York City. Glad to be with you today. The phone number, 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, you can call in. Happy to have you. We got a lot going on today, and I, out of the gate, got to address myself because I am part of the news story. I didn't intend to be a news headline today. And to begin with, I need to say something as a matter of housekeeping to all the news networks that are calling and emailing. I can't do your TV shows today, and I'm not trying to weasel out of it. I have been out of town and have obligations I can't get out of this evening, so I'm sorry I can't do TV tonight. Lots of people over what happened just a short time ago. So what happened? Well, Robert F. Kennedy is having his first big hearing in the United States Senate before the Health Care Committee. Elizabeth Warren is grilling him right now. Bernie Sanders sitting next to her. But it was Bill Cassidy, who is a doctor, who is the senator from Louisiana, who began things, and he used me to begin his conversation with Robert F. Kennedy.
This is from Eric Erickson, good conservative out of Atlanta, Georgia. Occasionally gives me help. My wife has stage 4 lung cancer. She's one of the people the COVID vaccine actually helps. Thanks to the current mess at HHS, CVS is unable to get her vaccine. Secondly, an email from a physician friend of mine. Hey, Bill, I'm not even sure what I'm asking you, but we're all confused and concerned about who can get the COVID vaccine. We are having our attorney try and render an opinion, but there's no firm guidance and concern about liability if vaccines are given to a patient who requests it, but not on the current CDC list. Pharmacists are requiring a prescription now even for patients over 65, creating a huge headache. I submit these for the record.
Without objection.
I would say effectively we're denying people vaccine.
We actually are in 18 states in particular, and I live in one of them. Let me explain this. And first, a word on the vaccine. If you don't want it, don't get it. My wife, as the senator said, has stage 4 lung cancer. She got the COVID vaccine, the booster, and the whole family did on the advice of her medical team because we didn't want her to get COVID with stage 4 lung cancer. Her cancer is manageable. It's more like chronic illness. She takes a pill every day that keeps the tumors from growing. But the doctors told her that she would probably have terrible side effects from the COVID vaccine, but that COVID itself would be worse than what the vaccines were based on the research. Sure enough, she had horrible side effects from the vaccine, and the booster that she got was even worse. I mean, left her in the bed for days on end. And when she got COVID, it was sniffles for like 48 hours. She had sniffles, and she decided the side effects of the booster and the vaccine were so bad she was not going to get it again. That was 2021, and yeah. You know, she got COVID. You know, I get the flu vaccine every year. I've gotten it a couple times and then got the flu, and my doctor's like, that's because you were exposed to the flu before the vaccine. That's why. I get the flu vaccine and typically don't get the flu. In the years that I haven't got the flu vaccine and got the flu, I've been in bed for a week. My wife felt like she had the flu for a week with the COVID vaccine, and the COVID was just sniffles. But now you fast forward several years, she refused to get the vaccine again. In fact, nobody in my family has gotten boosters since, and I've never gotten COVID. I think I'm one of the last people I know who has never gotten COVID that I've known of. Maybe I've gotten it and just had no symptoms. When my wife got COVID the second time, this past October, I don't know that she's completely recovered, and she doesn't have long COVID. It wiped her out so bad, so hard, for so long. She was just a zombie for weeks. She went from being able to pull UPS trucks in strongman competitions to not being able to get out of bed. And she's been dealing with, it really wiped out her immune system. And now, look, I know there are people who say the COVID vaccine can cause cancer. My wife got cancer well before COVID. There actually is data that it's COVID, not the vaccine. It's COVID that can, in some people, for reasons we don't know, cause cancer. There are too many weird cancers that have cropped up in people who have gotten COVID. And there's speculation that maybe the COVID vaccine, because it presents as COVID, your body responds the same way. Maybe that's the case. But I'm not dismissing those. I'm just telling you, my wife had cancer long before this, and her oncologist, her cardiologist, her pulmonologist, her general physician, all of them say she should get the vaccine. And she knows when she got the vaccine how bad it was. COVID wasn't bad. And when she had not had the vaccine several years later, COVID was terrible. So they wanted to get the vaccine. We live in Georgia, and in Georgia, you have to have that CDC vaccine group meet and sign off on the approved vaccines, or pharmacists in the state can't give you the vaccine. In some states, you can. And in my state, you can get it, but you got to go through the bureaucracy of your doctor's office and try to get a prescription and all that. My wife's going to be fine. She's going to be able to get it. But Kennedy said I was wrong, and he should live the life that we live. My wife literally went to get the vaccine and could not get the vaccine because the pharmacist said they weren't allowed to give it to her. It's not that they didn't have it, it's that they could not give it to her. You show up for the flu vaccine, they can give you the flu vaccine. You don't need a doctor's prescription. Last year, you showed up for the COVID vaccine. You didn't have a doctor's prescription. You could get it. This year, you go for the flu, you get the flu, you go for the COVID. They're like, sorry, can't do it. Lady sent me her login for a pharmacy in Texas. Same thing happened to her. She's in a similar situation. She has cancer. Her doctor wanted her to get the COVID vaccine, and the pharmacy said, you can get the flu vaccine, you can't get the COVID vaccine. Again, your state, it may be different. My state, this is the situation. And in a lot of states, this is the situation. Because what has happened is there's been so much turmoil at Health and Human Services. They have suspended this panel that signs off on these vaccines. And in a number of states, you can't get it. And in some states, you can get it, but your insurance won't pay for it. And it has become a bureaucratic mess. I'm not here to attack RFK. Y'all know I don't care for him for a lot of reasons. I'm not here to amplify what Democrats are saying. I'm here to tell you, in my situation with my wife, who actually does benefit from the COVID vaccine, whether you do or don't, I mean, it's your body, your choice. That's what they always say. And for some people, they're vehemently opposed to my wife getting the COVID vaccine. That's been the other wild side effect of this. Or the number of people say, your wife doesn't need the COVID vaccine. It's probably what gave her cancer. I mean, people who don't know my wife, don't know her life, don't know the history of her cancer, don't know what it is, willing to chime in very freely. They are not cardiologists, pulmonologists, oncologists, general physicians, no medical degrees. They just stayed at a Holiday Inn Express and surfed the internet while they were there. I have talked to a lot of doctors who are running into this problem where they're seeing their patients having to come in to get prescriptions. Again, my wife's going to be fine. She's going to be able to get it, but it slows down the process. And it's the bureaucratic fallout that seems to be happening within HHS, the number of people leaving. And by the way, I support a number of those people leaving. The guy at the CDC who is the into witchcraft and Satanism and couldn't call monkeypox and wanted people to have a good time and not just stop having sex for 2 weeks. So that's where he needed to go. As I said the other day on the program, part of the problem with our healthcare system is that it got politicized by progressives. And so a lot of people do not trust our healthcare system because progressives tried to politicize it. Look at the normalization of transgenderism, where most Americans know it's a mental health issue. Even the people who have trans kids understand it's a mental health issue. They just think that transitioning solves the mental health issue. And they're like, no, this is not a mental health issue. Some people are born in the wrong body. No, the hell they aren't. And medical professionals who are actually progressive activists don't want to tell you the truth because of stigma. It's always stigma. The left helped discredit the system. I don't think Kennedy, who, by the way, is a leftist, probably is, well, I won't go there. I don't care for the guy. But the problem here is not so much him per se, but the bureaucracy at HHS and the level of disruption he has brought to the office. A lot of those people needed to be fired, but not all of them. And there are people in the country today who cannot go get the vaccines that they need because of this situation. And unfortunately, there are a lot of Americans now these days who are so, I don't know, online and woven into this stuff that they become very dogmatic and, well, she shouldn't have it because I read on the internet it can do this bad stuff. But you're not a doctor. You're not my wife's doctor. You don't live in our shoes. You don't walk in our shoes. You don't live our life. And I don't care about your strongly held opinion about my wife's situation. The number of people who think they can offer some cure who know nothing about the cancer that she has, the things that she goes through. But it used to be easy to get her the help she needed. In the Kennedy Health and Human Services Department, they've made it hard for my wife to live a life where she can go get the care that she needs quickly. We should not have to go track her doctor down, get him to write the prescription, send it to the local pharmacy for her to have to get a prescription that last year she could just show up and get the vaccine with no prescription, without having to get her doctor involved with any of that. It's become increasingly bureaucratically harder. And no one who has cancer should have to deal with extra bureaucracy in their life when they already have to go through the hassles of insurance approvals for things and regular doctor visits. I appreciate Senator Cassidy's words, a good conservative from Atlanta who occasionally gives me hell. I do. I give him all hell. I have praised Robert F. Kennedy on occasion, rarely because I don't have a lot good to say about him, but I have. You praise President Trump. My God, in fact, I'm being attacked today by progressives for saying that this should be fixed, but why do you support the federal takeover of cities? You just can't win with some people who become super politicized. Here's the bottom line. The left politicized healthcare in this country, and I know there are people who disagree with that, but I don't think you can go through the last 4 years and how they handled COVID and then monkeypox, where they told us to shut down the country for 2 weeks to stop COVID, but couldn't tell gay men to stop having sex for 2 weeks to stop monkeypox. You can't say they didn't politicize it. They did. But I don't think Kennedy is taking the politicization out of it. I think he's just adding different politicization to it. And the net result is that many people are having more bureaucracy in their lives instead of less. If you don't want the vaccine, you don't have to get the vaccine. My wife's entire battery of physicians who deal with her life would like her to get it, and she went to get it and was told she couldn't get it. And the reason she couldn't get it is because we live in a state where you've got to have the list of vaccines, and the committee that does the vaccines hasn't been able to meet because Kennedy tossed so many of them, and there's been all sorts of turmoil at HHS. It's like we're in a new dark ages where people forget what worked. We know what worked. And one of the things that always worked was to allow us to live our lives and make the decisions for ourselves without people in Washington on the left or the right making those decisions for us. And I would like to think that Secretary Kennedy, I think I've said Senator Kennedy, Secretary Kennedy, would actually get the bureaucracy out of our lives so that you and I can make our healthcare decisions for us. I believe you're probably reasonable informed. I know my wife is very reasonably informed about her healthcare. But that's not what's happened here. What's happened here is new bureaucracy making it more difficult to get something that shouldn't be difficult to get for those who want it and whose doctors think they need it. And if any good comes out of my tweeting Senator Cassidy, maybe it's that this insanity that's going on right now and the chaos within the bureaucracy of HHS can be solved for everybody. Because it's only this issue now. What comes next? I don't know. God forbid we have another pandemic of some kind. I didn't expect to be the lead news story today. Y'all should see my emails right now. I've got requests from pretty much every single news outlet in the country asking me to come on shows today, and I don't have time to do it today. Did not intend to start the show with this. In fact, if you stick around, I'll explain to you why the ending of vaccine mandates in Florida is not the catastrophe that the left is claiming it is. It's actually not. It's not a bad thing what Ron DeSantis and the Surgeon General are doing down there. I'll explain it to you when we come back. But it's just wild to me that in this country, Donald Trump, not Joe Biden, Donald Trump, poured federal money into Operation Warp Speed to develop a vaccine that actually has saved lives, even if you've read on the internet it hasn't. It has certainly helped my wife. And now suddenly this second turn of the Trump administration, it's more difficult to get the vaccine that actually helps. It's a choice, whether you want it or not. My wife and her doctors chose that she should have it. So why are we having to go through this hassle right now other than incompetence in Washington, D.C.?
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
1222, Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Travel advisory continues up into Woodstock with left lane construction. 575 northbound near Town Lake Parkway, exit 8. You slow before Highway 92. If you'd like, you can use Highway 5 as an alternate. Off and on traffic pacing in the Cartersville area, 75 north and southbound near Highway 20 and Highway 411. Look out for that throughout the day. And we still have construction impacting the left lane out of Buckhead into Midtown on the 400 southbound ramp to I-85 southbound. Slowing you coming out of that Financial Center tunnel. On the west side, 285 north and southbound, seeing some brake lights, trying to get through that work zone and onto I-20, the West Freeway. Traffic brought to you by Whole Foods Market. Stock up on home essentials at Whole Foods Market. Get 30% off 7th generation select cleaning supplies with Prime through September 9th while supplies last. Shop in store or online. Terms apply. I'm Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Okay, friends, it's the 5K a day bonus blitz. The noon keyword is fix. F-I-X, fix. Enter the keyword fix into the WSB Radio app or online at WSBradio.com/cash. You have until 12:30 p.m. to enter the keyword and win $1,000. The keyword is fix, F-I-X. And don't forget, if you get a phone call after 12:30 from a number you don't recognize, answer it. It could be us telling you want $1,000. The keyword is fix. Good luck.
Hey, this is Robbie with Ben Hill Renovations, the preferred deck experts heard on the Home Fix-It Show. We're well known for our superior craftsmanship for decks and outdoor living spaces. And at Ben Hill Renovations, we provide that same attention to detail when it comes to roofing, siding, windows, and doors. So get your project started today and call to schedule a free estimate. Or you can stop by our showroom in Douglasville. Online at bhrenovations.com. Ben Hill Renovations, creating raving fans since 1964.
This is Wes Moss from Money Matters. You know, retirement is a lot like football. The best teams don't just show up on game day. They've got great coaches and a smart game plan. Without one, things go off the rails quickly. At Capital Investment Advisors, we would act as your retirement coach, building both the big picture strategy and the detailed plays that aim to help you score the retirement you want. Don't go into retirement with a bad playbook. Visit us at yourwealth.com. That's YOURwealth.com.
You may have a great-looking yard, but is your home's paint job failing in the curb appeal department?
Don't be that homeowner with the ugly paint that your neighbors talk about. Get Rhino Shield.
Rhino Shield isn't just paint. It's an ultimate exterior coating that will improve your home's curb appeal, backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
Rhino Shield won't chip, crack, or peel. It's mold and mildew resistant, and its durability will not only protect your home from Mother Nature, but it can also make your home more energy efficient.
And it comes in any color, even your wife's favorite.
So beautify your home and get curb appeal for 25 years with Rhino Shield.
Check out our work and visualize Rhino Shield on your home at rhinoshieldga.com.
Or call 678-205-4500 now for a free quote, or visit rhinoshieldga.com.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Rhino Shield, it's better than paint.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Nobody likes a dingy smell. I mean, have you ever seen a candle with the scent dingy? I didn't think so. So avoid that dingy smell with help from the air duct cleaning experts at Zerorez. When dirt, dust, and allergens collect in your ducts, your air starts to stink. But Zerorez is a breath of fresh air. Plus, right now, if you mention WSB, you get up to $75 off your next duct cleaning. Schedule online at ZerorezAtlanta.com and ask about our commercial cleaning too. Zerorez, spell it backwards or forwards, it's the right way to clean.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB. You can be live on Eric's show by calling 877-97-ERIC. That's 877-973-7425.
Hello and welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, be patient with me. I was in New York City yesterday. I spoke at the Barrett News Summit. It's a talk radio conference. Yesterday afternoon, Glenn Beck was there. I was there. A lot of people were there, and it was a good conference. It was a networking event. I stood for basically 12 hours, but I also walked around New York City, and I gotta tell you, if you've never been to New York, first of all, I totally forgot. I haven't been up there since before COVID. The noise, the amount of horns that blow through the night and stuff, good gracious, the amount of trash they pile on the streets for pickup, that's always been there. What I noticed though are, again, I never felt unsafe even at night, and I was near Central Park, so it wasn't an unsafe part of town, but the amount of homeless people with serious mental health issues roaming the streets still, I mean, it's just sad. Sad to see that they don't do anything about it. Now, let me tell you about Hillsdale College, a great organization, and they would love it if you checked them out at ericforhillsdale.com. In particular, if you go to ericforhillsdale.com today, you can sign up with Hillsdale College and take one of their 40 classes for free. They're video lectures. 30 minutes apiece, and now it depends on what class you take, how many episodes there are, but each episode 30 minutes with Hillsdale's great faculty, and you literally can just, learn so much, and it's at no charge to you. All you have to do is go to ericforhillsdale.com, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com. You sign up with Hillsdale College today. You get smarter about a topic. There's a great one on the Federalist Papers. Frankly, Tim Kaine, the senator from Virginia, needs to take that one, given his statements we'll get into about inalienable rights coming from God. That he could learn a lot, but you can too. You go to Eric, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com. You sign up today with Hillsdale College and you start learning.
If you have the WSB radio app, all the notifications you need.
If you have the WSB app,
All the local and breaking news alerts you need.
Breaking news in Cobb County.
All in one place.
We'll send out an alert on the WSB app.
The 95.5 WSB app.
Download it from your app store today. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. A bizarre turn of events earlier today as firefighters responded to a house fire in Locust Grove. The fire was at a home located on Cadence Drive. When fire crews arrived on scene, they encountered a man armed with a large knife who refused orders from police to drop the weapon.
After several attempts to de-escalate the situation and even using less lethal taser, he refused to drop the knife, and ultimately he was shot by a Locust Grove police officer and was pronounced dead there at the scene.
That is Police Chief Derek Austin. He says police then found the body of a woman upstairs in that home. 3 other members of the household, including the grandmother of the man who had the knife, they were found hiding in a bedroom. They were safely removed from that house. The GBI arson investigators are looking into what happened. Your weather for today, partly cloudy, isolated rain showers possible, highs 87, says Channel 2 Action News meteorologist Brad Nitz. He'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up in just a matter of minutes. On this one-year anniversary of the Appalachia High School shooting, a judge sets a trial date for the father of the accused shooter. Colin Gray's trial now set to begin on February 9th. It was originally supposed to start next week, but was pushed back because of scheduling conflicts. His trial will be held in Barrow County, but a jury will be brought in from Hall County. Colin Gray accused of buying the gun that his son used in that deadly shooting. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. facing questions from lawmakers on Capitol Hill today over a variety of topics, and he is defending his actions thus far.
We have been the busiest, most proactive administration in HHS history.
Kennedy accusing former CDC Director Dr. Susan Maneras of lying about him asking her to go along with vaccine recommendations. Kennedy said a number of his key advisory panel members are pro-vaccine. It comes after more than 1,000 former and current HHS employees called for RFK Jr. to step down. The 57th annual Yellow Daisy Festival is underway today at Stone Mountain Park. It kicked off today. It is the South's largest outdoor arts and crafts show with more than 400 artists and vendors on hand. It'll run through Sunday. It's 12:32.
If you've ever organized your closet only to have it look like a bomb went off in there 1 month later, then it's time to call Artisan Custom Closets. Reach-in closets, walk-in closets, pantry spaces, garages. With a custom spacious closet from Artisan, you'll never have to deal with all that clutter again. All your stuff neatly organized and designed to stay that way. Call the Closet Bomb Squad, Artisan Custom Closets. They'll diffuse your clutter and make it safe to enter your closet again. ArtisanCustomClosets.com.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
You can save big on 6 packs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or Canada Dry. Select varieties or buy 2, get 2 free with your card. Limit 8. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Well, they said it was fixed, but was it? When TE certified electrical, plumbing, heating, and cooling say it's fixed, it's really fixed. That's part of how they love your home. Hey, it's Chris Chandler, and these are the folks I trust in my home because of their attention to detail, expertise, and a job done right the first time. And to back it up, TE Certified offers a lifetime workmanship warranty.
TE Certified, we love your home.
Castile Plumbing and Electrical knows the best way to handle that dripping pipe or flickering light isn't just wishing it'll go away on its own. Good news for you. You don't have to think too hard to take care of these issues, thanks to our free, no-obligation plumbing or electrical safety inspection with any paid service. The experts at Castile will fix any small problems before they become big, expensive ones, and even have 0% interest financing available on repairs and replacements. Enough with the wishful thinking. Book today at CastileAir.com.
It's happening, guys. Your hair's thinning, the crown's disappearing. Hair loss might have you feeling you've lost your identity. It's Mark Aram here. Thankfully, there's Advanced Hair Simple One-Day Treatment. You decide how much, how thick, and where. It's your own natural hair that begins regrowing the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. I've seen Advanced Hair's incredible results with my own eyes. Get your free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
All right, live when it comes to traffic and weather, Alex Williams.
Still watching the big jam through Woodstock with a left lane construction, 575 northbound up around Town Lake Parkway, exit 8. But some better news, they are picking up those barrels, so that's really going to help out that ride. That construction is in the clearing stages. You still have 400 southbound construction on the ramp to 85 south in the left lane. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz. Headed to 87 today. Some isolated showers and storms. Rain chance 30%.
More news at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I am happy to take your phone calls. But before I get to them, I want to talk about the Florida situation. The state of Florida, under Governor Ron DeSantis and his Surgeon General, have announced the end of all vaccine mandates. So there will be no MMR mandate. There's going to be no mandate for the chickenpox vaccine, HPV, anything else. And the left is catastrophizing this. They're turning it into unmitigated disaster. Do you know how many people are going to die? The blood that will be on Ron DeSantis' hands. Let me start with where I am with my family, because, you know, I'm the man, therefore, head of household. I say that laughingly because I texted my wife this morning. She thanked me for cooking something for us, and I just keep my wedding vows. As I said, love, honor, and obey you. She found the humor in it, and in any event, our kids are vaccinated. We believe vaccines work. I think, for example, there's some controversy over the Hep B vaccine, and I'm not sure why an infant needs the Hep B vaccine unless their mother was in risky business before the child was born or as the child was born, and by the time they get old enough to really need to worry about Hep B, they're going to have to be revaccinated. I don't get that one, why the mandate in some cases. But the MMR vaccine, no, it doesn't cause autism, and it actually really does help. I remember as a kid, the chickenpox parties kids would have. My sisters both got chickenpox. I have never had chickenpox. I have natural immunity from chickenpox. Not sure why, but I went to get the chickenpox vaccine when it came out, and they tested me and said, "Oh, you've got natural immunity. If you get the chickenpox vaccine, it can actually be bad for you." Never had chickenpox. I get the flu vaccine. As I said earlier, I've been skeptical of the flu vaccine in the past because I've gotten the flu after getting the flu vaccine. It's like it doesn't work. And when my doctor was telling me to get it, particularly because of my wife's situation, he wanted me to get the flu vaccine. I was like, but I get the flu when I get the flu vaccine. He says, no, what happens is you've been exposed to the flu before you get the vaccine, and that turbocharges you getting your flu symptoms. If you get the flu vaccine before flu is really going around, you're going to be fine and you're not going to get the flu. And sure enough, I get the flu vaccine. I don't get the flu. And the few years where I haven't gotten the flu vaccine, I have gotten the flu so bad. Been miserable. So I get the flu vaccine. My kids get the flu vaccine. We got the original COVID vaccine and booster because of my wife's cancer, but my kids and I are like, Mom needs it, but we don't need it anymore, and I've never gotten COVID. And frankly, as COVID spreads again, it's milder and milder as it, I mean, very much like the flu the Spanish flu is terrible, and a lot of people believe that the flu we get today is derived from that, and you don't have massive deaths from the flu. I don't get the pneumonia vaccine, but the basic vaccines for kids. Yes, we have gone through those. My daughter, my wife and I were a little bit concerned about the HPV vaccine. You really don't need it unless you're engaged in risky sexual behavior, frankly. But we decided nonetheless, not that our daughter does or would, but go on and do the HPV vaccine as well, because we do know, God forbid something ever happens to my kid, given the cancer history of my wife's family, better safe than sorry. HPV has wiped out cervical cancer in Australia and Great Britain. It is a modern miracle we don't talk enough about. The HPV vaccine has wiped out cervical cancer in Great Britain and Australia among those who got it. Not a person who has gotten that vaccine has gotten cervical cancer, which stands out dramatically compared to those who haven't gotten it and wound up getting cervical cancer and contracted HPV. They got cancer. It's a miracle drug. Here's why I'm not alarmed by Ron DeSantis in the state of Florida getting rid of vaccine mandates. All but I think 5 states already have religious exemptions for vaccines. Now, I need to set the stage again here. Now, I've laid out my position on I support vaccines. I think your kids should get the MMR vaccine. The measles can be very debilitating. Several kids died this past year in the measles wave. Others are going to be blind. I had friends growing up who got chickenpox who have scars on their body from chickenpox to this day. As adults, they got scars on their body from it. Get your kid vaccinated, I think. I understand the religious objection, particularly the MMR. You know, the original MMR vaccine was derived from an aborted baby. That's the religious objection. If you want to know what the religious objection to the MMR is, it's that the original MMR was developed based on fetal tissue from an aborted child, and a lot of pro-lifers had a religious objection. Totally understandable in my mind. My view has always been that what some meant for evil, God meant for good. The MMR vaccine has saved a lot of lives. Your mileage may vary. But there are all but 5 states, so 45 states have religious exceptions for vaccines. 45 states allow you to opt out of vaccines already, including Florida, for religious exceptions. In other words, when you go to the doctor with your toddler, your doctor is still going to recommend the battery of vaccines. But the state will not deny your child a publicly funded education if you choose not to get them. The children who are vaccinated are not going to get the diseases. The children who are not vaccinated will give each other immunity or kill each other, preferably immunity with modern medicine. They'll typically be fine. Y'all, I'm sorry, but I'm okay with this. And what I'm not okay with is the left catastrophizing this and scaring people about it. It's simply just not true that it's going to be a disaster. The people who are already objecting are using the religious exemption to object. Now, here's the thing. Larger issue here. Let's talk about the way the media covers stuff. The Erickson rule of media coverage, rule number 1, is that when the Republicans are in charge, they always cover the victims. When Democrats are in charge, they always cover the beneficiaries of policies. When it comes to something like this, they are catastrophizing healthcare in ways that actually don't make sense when you realize that the people who are already objecting in these states are using a religious exemption. Now they don't have to use a religious exemption. They could just say, I don't want my kid to have the vaccine. And then what happens? You know, if you're worried, get your kid the vaccine. That's always been my wife's and my view has always been, I mean, do what you want to do. We think it's beneficial. We think it actually will help. And our kid's not going to get sick, and your kid might. And if your kid gets sick, we hope your child is fine. And if you're in our friend group and we can do anything to help, God bless you, we'll help. But it's your choice. Really, some of these diseases can be fatal. Some of them can leave your child with a disability, and I hope that's not the case. But you're the parent. You know best for your child. You decide what's in your child's interest. And for the media to freak out about it and say kids are going to die, they're already using the religious exception. The media is trying to drive up anxiety. The media is trying to drive up hysteria. The media is trying to drive up people's rage over an issue. I did not see anywhere in the media coverage of the Florida situation that 45 states have religious exceptions already. I did not see in any of the coverage that what they were going to do, what doctors are going to do is still advise you to get vaccines in Florida. That's not going to change. The physician advice on vaccines isn't going to change in Florida. It's just they're not going to require it. So if you go to your doctor and your doctor never suggests the vaccines at all, and your kid gets a debilitating illness that could have been preventable, you're going to sue the doctor for malpractice. The doctor's going to advise you about the vaccines just to cover his own liability reasons, his backside. So you're still going to get the advice from the doctors to get the vaccine for your kid. And now it's going to be your choice as to whether or not you do, without having to file paperwork for religious exception. You're not going to have to file paperwork. See, now contrast this with what Kennedy is doing with the COVID vaccine. Kennedy is driving up the bureaucracy where you got to go through more paperwork to try to get the vaccine. And in Florida, what they're doing is they're driving down the bureaucracy. They're actually making it your choice, not a mandate that you can get out of. That's, I think, responsible. And again, my frustration is not with what they've done, but with the way this has been covered, because most people are like, oh my God, they're going to kill kids. No, they've already got a religious exception. You don't have to do it. In 45 states, you do not have to get a vaccine for your child if you say it's a religious exception. I'm sorry. I just think that this is another overblown issue by people who just want to hate Ron DeSantis, by people who want to hate the right, by people who want to claim the right is anti-science. And I just can't take a single person seriously saying the right is anti-science when they believe boys can become girls. I just can't do it. Live and let live. We would all be better off. Now, let me go to Terry here in Florida. Terry, welcome to the Eric Erickson Show. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Eric, I agree with you about your wife totally. I hate the idea of being forced to take a vaccine that we don't know what's in, and so I didn't take it. But I understand your wife's situation, and I don't know why we can't, I had to buy ivermectin from a foreign country because I didn't want the vaccine. I wanted ivermectin. And I never got COVID, and I've been fine. But I don't understand why when something is available and legal, we aren't able to get it and ourselves.
So, I actually know, Terry, the answer to that one. So it actually is a rational answer here. So with drugs like ivermectin that are prescription-controlled drugs, in some states like Texas has passed a law where you'll be able to get it over the counter. And so what the federal government does with all the drugs is they restrict them, and then the states can make them more freely available. So, for example, some states want to have birth control over the counter. Texas wants to have ivermectin over the counter. It's actually an affirmative duty of the state to act to allow it to happen. So the federal government basically classifies almost all the drugs except for like Advil and Tylenol and stuff like that as required prescriptions. Vaccines are not if they're approved by the vaccine board, which the COVID vaccine, now they paused that approval. And other drugs can become available over the counter if states act. So if you want to get ivermectin over the counter, you can get your state to pass legislation to make it over the counter in your state. Now, there are insurance issues there as well. And again, if I actually know people during COVID who believed that the data they read on ivermectin, I'll be honest, I'm skeptical, but they believed it, and they actually went to vets who were friends of theirs and got it, and because it's readily available from veterinarians, horse medicine. My concern here, though, is that we're having, because of the distrust in our healthcare community now, and so many of the people in our healthcare community are too arrogant to recognize that they themselves built up the distrust, that we are having these sorts of disputes that we've never had in the past. And we're having them because of the distrust. I mean, y'all, when you see the American Academy of Pediatrics try to justify transgenderism, you can't help but realize there's, if not evil at work, politics at work. When you see the level of politicization out there, when it comes to monkeypox, that we have to call it mpox lest we stigmatize people, and we can't tell people to stop having sex for 2 weeks, which would be the easiest way to stop its spread. We can't do that. You can't help but look and say that this is politics. This is politics. Not only is it politics, it's progressive ideology, and that just seeds more distrust of the system. We used to be able to have these independent groups that we could kind of rely on, and so many of them have gone through ideological capture by the left. You can't believe any of them anymore. And the arrogance of the left to not recognize that they have played a role in this situation where no one believes the organizations anymore, because when they tell you can stop COVID by shutting down the country for 2 weeks, but we can't stop the spread of monkeypox by shutting down orgies for 2 weeks, otherwise people wouldn't be able to have a good time, that right there is extremely disqualifying from people wanting to believe what any of these people say about anything.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
1250 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Well, that construction cleared up in Woodstock, 575 northbound near Highway 92 and Town Lake Parkway. But in the backup, we got a crash in the left lane just north of Bells Ferry Road, exit number 4, so you're seeing delays there. Elsewhere, we had that construction in the left lane, part of the left lane on the 400 southbound ramp to 85 south, but delays have improved getting past that. Looks like a new crash 20 westbound at Panola Road. Traffic brought to you by Whole Foods Market. Shop organics at Whole Foods Market. Get organic black, red, and green seedless grapes for $2.99 per pound with Prime through September 9th while supplies last. Shop in-store or online. Terms apply. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It pays to have the WSB radio app. Download it today and get ready for the Blitz.
No way! The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. 5 chances every weekday to win $1,000.
I just won $1,000 from WSB.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Your next chance to win is at 2
I am
p.m.
so excited.
From 95.5 WSB.
Download the WSB radio app now.
For many of you, it's happening. Your hair's thinning, your crown's disappearing, and maybe hair loss has you feeling your identity is lost altogether. Well, I got good news. It's Advanced Hair's incredible yet simple one-day treatment that starts regrowing your own natural hair the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. It's Mark Arum back with you. We've all seen the pills and lotions that come with monthly subscriptions. They help retain what you have, but what about regrowing your hair permanently in specific areas? From Advanced Hair's state-of-the-art facilities to their world-class physicians, it's not maybe your hair will regrow. It's guaranteed that your new hair will grow. You decide how much, how thick, and where. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, and I've seen their results, friends. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts, call 470-660-HAIR. That's 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-575-2798.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-2798. That's 800-575-2798.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Whether it's a slip that ends in a slip disc, a trick knee that's holding you back, or shoulder pain hurting your game, you can count on Northside Hospital Orthopedics. With leading care in Georgia at convenient locations all across the state, we're here to get you back on your feet, no matter what comes your way. Because Georgia moves us. and we keep Georgia moving. Find a provider near you at northside.com/ortho. That's northside.com/ORTHO.
Join Findlay Roofing this weekend at the Fall Atlanta Home Show at the Cobb Galleria Center. Dave Baker here. Stop by the Findlay Roofing booth and say roof, roof during our live broadcast of the Home Fix-It Show Saturday morning. More info at fallatlantahomeshow.com.
Roof, roof. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Eric's podcast with you. Available wherever you stream your favorite podcast. Search Eric Erickson.
Hello there. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here, 877-973-7425. Nancy, going to go to you next. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine. Thanks. Love your show, Eric. We listen to it every day.
Appreciate it.
I have two comments. You bring up such good topics. I have two comments. One is on the measles and the vaccine. And if the government feels it's so important that they were trying to, I think people don't like being forced to do something, whether you want to or not. That's one of the issues. But we had at least 300,000 young people came over the border. They can't even find them. And did they give every one of them vaccinations for measles and all this stuff so that they couldn't spread it? Because they were not getting that stuff in their countries probably. And if it was so vital to have these vaccines, then I would think everybody who crossed the border, and same with COVID, they were coming in during COVID, and I don't think they were giving COVID shots to all of them, but they wanted all the Americans to have it.
Okay,
so that's
Nancy,
one thought.
Go make your second thought, and then I got a story to blow your brains, blow your mind after you give me the second thought.
Okay, the second one's about COVID. I did not take the shot. I'm allergic to flu shots, so I refused, and half of our family, which has about 12 people in it, did not take it. We didn't get COVID. The other half, including my husband, took it and got COVID. So that was interesting. And but what I did, I read up a lot on it, especially Dr. Peter McCullough, who wrote 40 peer-reviewed papers on all this stuff. And he was saying that ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine and taking zinc and quercetin, which are over-the-counter vitamins, would prevent all of this stuff. So I was doing that. And then I had a doctor give me the ivermectin and the hydroxychloroquine. Then I ran out and I went back, and CVS said they made us pull it all off of our shelves. And the private pharmacy said, we've been told we lose our license. Well, what were they so afraid of? But there was a community up in Ohio with farmers, and they could get it through the veterinarians.
Yes.
And nobody in that town got COVID. So
okay,
this is
Nancy,
what we
I gotta
to.
let you go there, but I appreciate that. And here's what will blow your mind is that if you come into the country through the Overseas Refugee Program, they give you the vaccines if you're a child out of the country. If you just walk across the border, they don't. That's how absurd the healthcare situation is. Now, let me tell you about Swiss America. They want to help you. If you are worried about this war on cash where the government is trying to steer your spending towards debit and credit cards so they can see what you're buying, you need to get their free report, The Secret War on Cash. You can get it by calling or texting 800-289-2646. The all-out war on cash includes digital forms of currency, and it's spreading. Read The Secret War on Cash report for free. You just mentioned Eric, E-R-I-C-K, when you call or text 800-289-2646. That's 800-289-2646. Now, this applies to crypto. The government is trying to figure out ways to audit your crypto purchases and sales, which is wild. You need this Secret War on Cash report from Swiss America. Call or text them 800-289-2646. You can also go to SwissAmerica.com/Eric, SwissAmerica.com/ERICK, or 800-289-2646. Message and data rates may apply.
Everyone has an opinion.
We have become an idiotic nation that doesn't know how to even debate anything, so it doesn't surprise
Eric
me.
Von Hessler has an opinion.
You will still age.
And some advice.
Start doing things when you're younger. Drink a lot of water.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
And you will still die.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money.
But what if you could get both? Why not? Especially when it comes to health care, and that is Medi-Share. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with Medi-Share, and that's huge, but it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. And we know this from research of members. There's a lot they like about Medi-Share, but especially they love being part of something they believe in. And Medi-Share works, too. It has for more than 30 years. There are hundreds of thousands of members who love having telehealth if they need it. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you could save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or you're part of the gig economy or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
News, weather,
Traffic. 95.5 WSB. Atlanta's News and Talk.
Good afternoon. It is 1 o'clock. I'm Sabrina Cupid. Happening right now, Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. appearing before a congressional committee. He's facing a grilling today over the firing of the CDC director and vaccine policies. Georgia Senator Raphael Warnock.
For the first time, we're seeing deaths from children from measles. We haven't seen that in 2 decades. We're seeing that under your watch. You are a hazard to the health of the American people.
Now, Kennedy recently fired Dr. Susan Menares as CDC director. She had been on the job for less than a month. He defended the firing, claiming that she was dishonest. Kennedy's actions, including replacing a vaccine advisory panel with skeptics, have drawn criticism from medical groups. They warn that Kennedy's policies could increase vaccine-preventable diseases and have called for his resignation. We'll be watching. The Georgia Department of Public Health telling me today that the state still does not have the updated COVID vaccine and is waiting on recommendations and guidance from the CDC and will not administer any shots until they get the guidance. Also, CDC urging providers to discontinue the use of the 24-25 COVID vaccine and to destroy any unused product to minimize the risk of vaccine errors. The CDC's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices is scheduled to meet coming up on September 18th and 19th. All right, your weather for today, partly cloudy and isolated rain showers possible, about a 30% chance, says Channel 2 Action News meteorologist Brad Nitz. Your afternoon high right there around 87. The GBI today investigates after a house fire call ends in a deadly police shooting in Locust Grove.
Crews responding to a house fire on Cadence Street make a surprise discovery.
Forced entry into the house to try to extinguish the fire. Were encountered by a male suspect armed with a large knife.
Chief Derek Austin says after repeated refused commands to drop the knife, the man is shot and killed by Locust Grove police, who then make their way upstairs.
Officers then went upstairs to where the fire was and located a deceased adult female in the upstairs bedroom who had been severely burned.
3 other household members were found hiding and taken to safety. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
All right, here's a WSB scam alert. If you get a text message that looks like it's from Apple Pay saying that there was an unauthorized transaction, don't open it or reply to it. It's a scam. You want to just delete that text message. The scam first started earlier this year, but is starting to show up again. The 57th annual Yellow Daisy Festival is underway today. It kicked off today at Stone Mountain Park. It is the South's largest outdoor arts and crafts show. More than 400 artists and crafters on hand, and the festival runs through Sunday. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is up 197 at 45,468. So the Dow's up almost 0.5%. NASDAQ and the S&P also in the green. It's 102.
I love my home, and now I found a company that loves it as much as I do. TE Certified Electrical Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Chris Chandler here. These folks have done work in my home. Boy, it didn't take long to realize I could trust their expertise, their attention to detail, and what I think you'll find, just as I did, an amazing level of service. TE Certified has more than 20,000 5-star reviews, and it's been serving Atlanta for decades.
TE Certified, we love your home.
Starting a business takes grit and fortitude, but to keep it going requires taking care of customers like family. That's our motto, and my family's been sticking to it for decades. Hi, this is Daniel Jape, and you can count on Jape Services to provide quality care and price transparency for your home's heating, cooling, and plumbing needs. At Jape Services, we're a family-run business, and I personally guarantee to treat you like family as well. JapeServices.com.
Jape Services.
Attention men, does ED and PE have you down? Well, great news. Choice Men's Health has the latest breakthrough treatments that can get you up and running. Meet the specialist who is dedicated to helping you perform better than ever in the bedroom.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Our custom treatment plans have a 98% success rate at improving ED and PE on your very first visit, even if Viagra and Cialis have failed. Regardless of your age and medical history, we are here and dedicated to help you regain your love life.
Don't wait. Call Choice Men's Health now. We are so confident we can help. For a limited time, we're offering to cover your first treatment for free. Call 404-400-1170. Call now to claim your free treatment. 404-400-1170. Results guaranteed on your first visit or it's free. 404-400-1170. Choice Men's Health, the only choice for your health.
It's 1:05, time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Watching the brake lights through Lithonia on I-20 westbound from about Evans Mill Road over to Penola Road, exit 71, where there's a crash blocking at least one lane. And seeing some brake lights into Midtown and downtown on 7585 southbound 17th Street down to about Cortlandt Street. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad, and it's headed to 87 this afternoon. That's our average high this time of year. Partly cloudy with some isolated showers and storms. Rain chance 30%. Mostly sunny, hot and dry tomorrow. Low 70, high 92.
Right now in Duluth, we have partly cloudy skies, 83 degrees. It's 84 right now in Lithia Springs and 84 in Marietta. We'll have more news at 1:30, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
More local news.
Atlanta's airport's bracing for record-breaking crowds. Apparent murder in the Grant Park area.
More traffic.
A crash in the Cobb Cloverleaf.
One crash on I-20 westbound.
You're on and off the brakes beginning at University.
More weather.
Looking at rotation that is near the city of Brooks, thunderstorm is capable of producing a quick spin-up tornado.
Atlanta's Morning News.
Governor Kemp reacting to that tariff pause.
Tomorrow morning at 5.
Wake up with 95.5 WSB. How Atlanta starts its day.
Greetings, welcome. It's Eric Erickson here across the United States from Middle Georgia, not D.C., not New York, but from real America. Broadcast. Oh man, does it make them mad when you say that too? Welcome. The phone number 877-973-7425. If you want to be on the program, let's talk about blue skies. There's blue sky outside right now. But I'm not talking about that sort of blue sky. I'm talking about the Twitter competitor, Blue Sky. Let me back up. Elon Musk took over Twitter during the Biden administration. And by then, progressives were upset because he was no longer one of them. And, you know, so back during the Obama administration, a little bit of a tangent, Kathleen Sebelius was the Secretary of Health and Human Services. She's the one who sued the nuns. I remember when that case happened, I was still at CNN. And I was in the, he won't mind me saying this, but I was sitting in the green room with Paul Begala, who had been the Clinton strategist with Carville. Begala and I were sitting there, and I looked at Paul and said, Paul, this is insane. This is bad. Suing nuns to force them to pay for abortions. And he just looked at me and he kind of shook his head. He said, hell hath no fury like a lapsed Catholic. And in fact, the people who leave the Catholic Church tend to be the people who hate it the most. The people who leave church, period, tend to be the people who hate churches the most. I have a friend who has decided he's an atheist, and pretty constantly his Instagram reels are all about why it's all nonsense, and he just has become a believer in the religion that is atheism. Ironically, Christians are the original atheists. You know, that's why the Romans killed the Christians, because they said they were atheists, because you had to die to be a god, and the Christians said they worshipped a living person, therefore they couldn't be religious, they had to be atheists because you can't worship a living person. It's kind of funny. Tim Keller says Christians are the real atheists because we don't believe in a path to heaven or a path to eternity. We believe in a relationship with a man. And nonetheless, man, you leave the church, boy, do you tend to hate the church. All these people who deconstruct themselves out of the faith. And 9 times out of 10 as well, it's sexual stuff. 9 times out of 10, the people who leave the church, it's over sexual sins, their own or someone else. And then they really hate the church. But yeah, they went after the church, and it was insanity. Like you could tell this was a bad thing, and most Democratic strategists at the time knew what a bad idea it was to try to force nuns to pay for abortions. And yet, in this echo chamber on the left, on an MSNBC and the like, everyone was hunky-dory with it. It was fine. It was wild to me, and the echo chamber has only gotten worse over time. Which leads me back to Blue Sky. So Elon Musk, he left the left, and like the lapsed Christians who hate the church the most, people on the left really hate people who leave progressivism. And again, he was perceived because he was a technologist in Silicon Valley to be on the left, a bit of a hedonist. And when he decided he was on the right, oh my gosh, he's a Nazi now. So they had to pack up and leave. Now, along the way, there was something called Mastodon. Mastodon is a very confusing website. I can't even begin to explain it to you, but all the tech-savvy progressives went to something called Mastodon. The non-tech-savvy progressives, they went to this thing called Blue Sky, which was actually created by one of Twitter's original founders, Jack Dorsey. And it works very much like Twitter, but it's called Blue Sky. And at Blue Sky, they have become much, 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 much more hateful and bigoted than the left ever was at Twitter, because they're very much in their own bubble now. This thing happens on the left and the right. I mean, it happens to me all the time on the right, where I say something like tariffs. Tariffs are economically bad. We're starting to see the problems with tariffs. The things that I told you would happen with tariffs are beginning to happen, and yet people on the right want to bully you, badger you, silence you, censor you on the right for saying anything that contradicts the tribal talking points. And the left is even worse at it. And you go to Blue Sky, you say anything that contradicts left-wing opinion, they're going to censor you, silence you, cancel you, badger you, bully you. And so it becomes this massive echo chamber. And this massive echo chamber is overwhelmingly white, woke, beta progressives who believe themselves online to be the alphas. And so they talk about violence because, I mean, these people, they're too weak to even pick up a Glock, let alone use one. Like, we're going to shoot the right. We're going to take back our rights violently if we have to. Buddy, you call a magazine a clip. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. But online, they can puff up their chest, and they all call it a clip, not a magazine. And they all think they know what they're talking about. They all think they're smart. They all think they're geniuses. And they all think the exact same thing on every single issue. It's like online MSNBC, except they don't even have Joe Scarborough to tell them they're bad on the crime issue. It's just this self-reinforcing echo chamber and loop of insane people and journalists, many of them progressives. They packed up and left Twitter for Blue Sky, exposing themselves to just one of the safety of the hive mind of the left. And it's becoming a secret tool of the right. Now, how is it becoming a secret tool of the right? Because as they push each other further and further left, they begin to speak a language that is further and further distorted from reality and further disconnected from normal people. They begin to sound really nuts. So if you got my morning piece, you text DATA to 33777. You saw my morning piece that I wrote at like 1 o'clock this morning. There's a screenshot from a reporter for Huffington Post, the liberal site. She sends this, and I got to say, the one woman in the picture kind of looks like it's her, but maybe it's not. And she tweets this picture. This picture is of 4 National Guardsmen, one of whom is smiling and waving at the camera, with these 2 women, white women. White women is important here. 2 white women who have dressed up in Handmaid's Tale gowns. You know, the red gowns with the white bonnets. They're literally cosplaying handmaidens from the Handmaid's Tale. And Jennifer Bindry, this, well, I better not say that. Maybe she's married. But Jennifer Bindry from the Huffington Post, this is what she tweets. A D.C. resident shared this photo she took at Union Station yesterday. Looks like a scene from The Handmaid's Tale, but no, just another day of Trump's militarization of D.C. right now. Hashtag under his eye. Yes, it looks like a scene from The Handmaid's Tale because 2 progressive white women have decided to dress up as characters from The Handmaid's Tale. That's why it looks like a scene from The Handmaid's Tale. But this reporter, who helpfully on Twitter puts her Blue Sky account, seems to think this is an abomination. Literally, one of the National Guardsmen is standing, looking at the person taking the picture, smiles and waves. It's so dystopian. He smiles and waves. Now, here's the actual funny part of the picture. If you zoom into the background in Union Station, 1, 2, 3, 4 black residents just living their life. All those mean old National Guardsmen, they're there with the 2 white women dressed up as handmaidens. The black people, they're in the background, living their best life, unharassed by the National Guard, safely moving about, going about their business. On Blue Sky, Washington, D.C. has turned into a federal dystopia. But there in the background, you see people unharassed by the feds going about their business. The mayor of Washington, D.C. has come out and said that they might extend the federal cooperation with local law enforcement because crime has gone down so much in Washington, D.C. Have you heard that anywhere? Have you heard that on the national press? It's true. I looked it up. I thought, surely I haven't heard this anywhere. It can't be so. Nope. Mayor Bowser, she's come out and said that crime has gone down so much that beyond the 30-day limit for federal engagement, they may continue the cooperation with the feds to keep crime down in Washington, D.C. Think about that. And that's dystopian to these white people on Blue Sky. You know, it's funny. A guy came at me on Twitter who also has a Blue Sky account. Says, if Joe Biden sent federal troops into a red state, you'd be outraged. Y'all, I literally did a monologue on this program where Joe Biden was president and said if he wanted Americans to think he was good on crime, he should send the National Guard out to help local law enforcement in New Orleans and Memphis. I literally said that on this radio program when Joe Biden was president of the United States. And they're like, if Joe Biden did this, you'd be outraged. No, I said he could actually improve his standing in the polls if he did it to show he was tough on crime. But they couldn't bring themselves to do it. And you know the response to that was, prove it, Erickson. Show us that monologue. Sorry, you do your own Google. But I said it, and they didn't do it. And they should have done it, frankly. Make New Orleans. In fact, I pinned a piece yesterday. Said invade New Orleans. You know, forget Chicago. J.D. Vance, by the way, says we're not going to Chicago anytime soon.
There are no immediate plans, but the president has said he has the legal authority to protect American citizens, whether that's in Chicago or Washington, D.C. Obviously, as the president has said, we want the governor to be a partner here. We would love it, Democrat or Republican, if we had governors who were willing to actually be partners in cutting down crime in our country. Unfortunately, it looks like that's not what we have in J.B. Pritzker.
Yeah, it's definitely not what you have in J.B. Pritzker. But we're not going to Chicago. I actually think what the president should do is work with red state governors and go to New Orleans and St. Louis and Kansas City and Memphis and other cities that have very high crime rates in red states and make them safe. Make them safe. reward the voters in the states that voted for Donald Trump by making their big cities safe and boost tourism revenue, boost their economies by making it safe for the tourists to come back? I can't tell you. Y'all in St. Louis, so I broadcast live in St. Louis. The number of people from St. Louis who, when I said I was going there a while back, emailed said, no, don't stay in St. Louis. It's not safe even in broad daylight. Sure enough, it's not. So make it safe. It's a red state. Work with the governor. Work with Governor Keogh. Go take the National Guards in. And then when crime is meaningfully lowered in these cities and red states, show the blue state governors who think it's impossible to reduce crime that it is possible to reduce crime. You know, I mean, the biggest paternalistically racist people in America are rich white progressives like J.B. Pritzker, who really does think that black people can't live in safe neighborhoods, that crime is part of the fabric of their community. You talk about shootings in Chicago. That's not a conversation for us. It's a conversation for them. Who is them? The black residents. Why isn't it a conversation for all of us? It's not their city. It's our city. It's their abdication from the conversation because they really don't believe that they can get rid of crime in poor and black areas. They really don't. I mean, they're paternalistically racist. The soft bigotry of low expectations runs rampant through progressivism. So Donald Trump, send troops to New Orleans, send troops to St. Louis, send troops to Kansas City, send troops to Memphis. Make those cities and red states safe and show it's possible. By the way, I put that piece up yesterday morning. At 6:30 in the morning, I posted my piece saying the headline was Invade New Orleans. Less than 4 hours later, I was getting text messages from people. Hey, I think the president must read your stuff. He says he might send troops to New Orleans. I don't care whether he reads it or not. It's the right thing to do. Make New Orleans safe. Prove it's possible to do law enforcement in a crime-ridden hellhole like New Orleans and show Chicago, San Francisco, New York, L.A., that, yeah, you put your mind to it, you actually can meaningfully impact crime. But you know what's going to happen if you do it? What the left's going to say, oh, look, there was a shoplifting yesterday. You haven't stopped crime. It's not a matter of ending all crime. It's a matter of dramatically reducing it so people feel safe. That's something the left has decided they're incapable of doing.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's the Erick Erickson Show.
121 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Been watching a crash working I-20 westbound in DeKalb County, Panola Road, exit number 71. That has been blocking at least one lane, jamming up the ride through Lithonia. Trouble off to the right, 75 northbound, up around Bell's Ferry, Chastain Road, exit 271. And trouble in Norcross, center lane blocked, 85 northbound Jimmy Carter Boulevard, exit 99. Traffic brought to you by Blindster.com. Blindster.com is a family business making custom blinds, shades, and shutters. Give them a try and see why over 1 million windows have trusted Blindster. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
On air,
online,
on the app,
where you get your news,
is where you'll win.
Download the WSB radio app now and maybe win $1,000.
All right, thank you. The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
5 words, 5 times a day, every weekday.
Oh my word!
Just enter the word at WSBradio.com or on the WSB radio app. The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Your next chance to win is at 2 p.m.
At Jape Services, family isn't just a slogan, it's how we do business.
Our family has been helping homeowners with their heating and cooling since 1978.
And now, we're riding along just like our dad did when he was 14.
And today, we're here to help your family stay cool and comfortable. If your AC is struggling, call Jape Services for honest pricing, expert heating and cooling repair, or replacement.
Decades of experience, family-run values, service you can trust.
Let our family take care of your family.
Jape Services.
It's essential, complicated, and if it breaks, you could have a disgusting mess. Hi, I'm Shannon, owner of Scorpion Septic, and the experts you hear on the Home Fix-It Show. Slow drains, gurgling sounds, or pooling water and odors in the yard? Don't ignore these symptoms. Call us today.
Take the sting out of septic service with Scorpion Septic, where there is never a pump out charge with your repair. Call for more information.
ScorpionSepticServices.com. Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Skip the hassles of a traditional home sale and sell your home quickly with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. There's no showings, no open houses, and no stress. Hi, this is Mark Spain, and our guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. With the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can bypass the market, receive the strongest all-cash offer in the industry, and close in as little as 21 days. Our guaranteed offer keeps you in control. One of our clients, Jerry, said, "We needed to move quickly, and we were worried that the process would be lengthy and that we would spend a lot of money on repairs. Mark Spain Real Estate got us an offer in just 3 days and over asking price. It was amazing. I can't thank Mark Spain Real Estate enough. Don't worry about the inconveniences of selling your home. Mark Spain Real Estate's guaranteed offer makes selling stress-free. We've served over 72,000 satisfied clients, and we know what matters most: a quick sale and maximum profit. Find out what your guaranteed offer would be. There's no obligation. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But what if you could get both? Why not? Especially when it comes to health care, and that is Medi-Share. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with Medi-Share, and that's huge, but it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. We know this from research of members. There's a lot they like about Medi-Share, but especially they love being part of something they believe in. And Medi-Share works, too. It has for more than 30 years. There are hundreds of thousands of members who love having telehealth if they need it. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you could save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or you're part of the gig economy or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Missed part of today's show? Catch it again in full with the Eric Erickson Show 24/7 live stream. Available at ericerickson.com. Stream enabled for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
Welcome back. The phone number 877-973-7425. So a number of federal judges have spoken out against the Supreme Court. They did so, of course, on background. That they were too chicken to actually speak on the record. One of them, however, seemed to be pretty brave in calling out his peers. Just listen to this. This is from NBC News, which published this piece. 10 anonymous federal judges complaining about the Roberts Court and its decision to hand stuff down on the shadow docket. Now, let me explain why they're really upset. By the shadow docket speeds things along. The shadow docket is where you don't have the formal hearings of the Supreme Court and the decision comes out the next year. The shadow docket speeds stuff up, and what these progressive judges were hoping to do was to slow down the Trump administration for another year until the Democrats could take back Congress potentially. And the Roberts Court is using the shadow docket to keep things moving along. Here's this one quote: "Not all judges interviewed share that view. A judge appointed by Barack Obama said that while the Supreme Court could do more to explain itself, some lower court judges has been out of line. Quote, certainly there is a strong sense in the judiciary among the judges ruling on these cases. The court's leaving them out to dry. They're partially right to feel that way. But, the judge added, the whole Trump derangement syndrome is a real issue. As a result, judges are mad at what Trump is doing or the manner he's doing it. They're sometimes forgetting to stay in their own lane." Yes. Now, you want to get into the lane that has Vision Computer in it if your computer's slowed down, because they can speed you up. They can get you a new computer. They can upgrade your existing computer. They can even manage your computer remotely for you and save you some money and keep you going. You call them at 404-COMPUTE, or you go to visioncomputers.com. You tell them Eric sent you. You could save even more money. Here's the thing. If you're a business and you're using IT ticketing for your company, where your employees, they got a problem, they got to file a ticket, they got to do an email, all that sort of stuff, you don't have to do that. With Vision, they all get a phone number. They call them 15 seconds or less. Vision answers the phones, real human beings to talk to explain the problem. They can even remote in. And your employees aren't having to try to explain the situation in an email ticket or using an AI chatbot. They're actually talking to real human beings. So your uptime stays, your downtime reduces, your employees get with the business. You call them at 404-COMPUTE or go to visioncomputers.com, and you keep yourself online and going.
If it's happening on the streets of Atlanta.
After suspect refuses to exit home on Summer Chase Drive.
If it's happening on the roads leading to Atlanta.
Looks to be a tanker truck crashed into the median on the JamCam.
95.5 WSB has you covered.
The major culprits squeezing household budgets for auto insurance, gasoline, and utilities.
Your 24/7 news source. Tune in throughout the day to stay up to date.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's news and talk.
It is 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Ben Hill Renovation. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. facing tough bipartisan questioning about his COVID-19 policies in a Senate committee. He's also being grilled about the firing of Dr. Susan Manera as a CDC director.
It's clear that you are carrying out your extremist beliefs, which is why you attempted to fire Dr.
We're
Manara.
the sickest people in the world.
Sir, I'm not.
We're the sickest people on earth.
I'm speaking.
That is Georgia's Raphael Warnock. Kennedy defending the firing of the CDC director, claiming she was dishonest. So how do parents feel about vaccine mandates? Sherry Preston has a look at a new poll this afternoon.
79% of adults polled by the T.H. Chan School of Public Health at Harvard say parents should be required to have their children immunized against diseases like measles, mumps, and whooping cough before they attend school. In Florida, where vaccine mandates are being eliminated, 82% of parents polled by KFF and the Washington Post this summer said they supported vaccine mandates. Only 18% were opposed.
All right, your weather for today, partly cloudy. Isolated rain showers are possible. Highs around 87, says Channel 2 Action News meteorologist Brad Nitz. In Locust Grove, a police officer shoots and kills a man. This after police and fire responded to a house on Cadence Street. There was a house fire there. Police Chief Derek Austin says they initially went to put out that fire.
They forced entry into the house to try to extinguish the fire, and they were encountered by a male suspect armed with a large knife.
He says after repeatedly refusing verbal commands and being tased, the man was shot and killed by police. Officers then discovered the burned body of a woman upstairs. And then they found 3 other members hiding of that household, hiding in a bedroom. Henry County Fire Marshal and the GBI now investigating. It has been 1 year since that Appalachia High School shooting, and a judge has set a trial date for the father of the accused shooter. Colin Gray's trial now set to begin on February 9th. It was originally scheduled to start next week, but was pushed back due to scheduling conflicts. His trial will be held in Barrow County, but a jury will be brought in from Hall County. Colin Gray accused of buying the gun that his son used in that shooting. Mays High School in Atlanta celebrating the completion of a state-of-the-art music studio and production lab that will allow students to hone their skills in podcasting, music production, and other creative pursuits. The school's principal says students have already given it a big thumbs up.
The excitement is back. The light bulb is on for them when they see the space or when they're working. They're just engaged, they're focused, and they're learning.
He says he's excited for students to learn real trade skills that they can apply in the real world. The studio is funded through a grant from the Save the Music Foundation. It's 1:32.
Nobody likes a dingy smell. I mean, have you ever seen a candle with the scent dingy? I didn't think so. So avoid that dingy smell with help from the air duct cleaning experts at Zerorez. When dirt, dust, and allergens collect in your ducts, your air starts to stink. But Zerorez is a breath of fresh air. Plus, right now, if you mention WSB, you get up to $75 off your next duct cleaning. Schedule online at ZerorezAtlanta.com and ask about our commercial cleaning too. Zerorez, spell it backwards or forwards, it's the right way to clean.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Atlanta's best plumbers call Deep Dive. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll have your pipes working again. DeepDivePlumbing.com.
I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell.
And I'm Monica Pearson. Dale and I have worked together for years, first at WSB, and today helping you find Georgia's best companies and sharing why they're the best.
Monica, one of the first companies I researched and recommended is Amco Transmissions and Total Car Care. For more than a dozen years, they've consistently met my 7-point standard and honored my Make It Right guarantee. And I know you believe in Amco just as much as I do.
Dale, over the years, we've both reported about people getting taken advantage of. So I'm keenly aware what it takes to deliver not just great performance, but great customer service. People who follow my advice literally stop me on the street and thank me for referring them to Amco.
We all need mechanics we can trust for correct diagnosis, efficient repair, and fair price. Not just for transmission repair, but engines, brakes, check engine lights, and so much more. Call the locally owned Amco near you.
And I know their nationwide warranty protects you everywhere.
That's AA
MCO.
If you've ever organized your closet only to have it look like a bomb went off in there 1 month later, then it's time to call Artisan Custom Closets. Dave Baker here with a custom spacious closet from Artisan. You'll never have to deal with all that clutter again. ArtisanCustomClosets.com.
All right, live team covers traffic and weather. Alex Williams.
Not good in Kennesaw. Tractor trailer into the woods. Right lane block 75 north before Chastain Road, exit 271. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz. Headed to 87 today. Some isolated showers and storms. Rain chance 30%.
More news at 2 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. 95.5 WSB.
Hello there. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. So, I think this is blue sky brain. It's a while back during the Biden administration, Heidi, what's her name, Presbell or whatever, I can't remember her name. She was a reporter with Politico. I think she's gone off to some left-wing site now or something. She was on MSNBC, and she said these Christian nationalists, they believe that our rights come from God. It was kind of a weird statement to come from someone like that, to claim that our rights didn't come from God. It was just a weird thing to have a reporter on MSNBC dispute the fact that where our rights come from. Because it's been very well defined for quite some time as a society that actually our rights come from God. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, and they are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights. Among these, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. And yet here was this reporter on MSNBC trying to claim that it was Christian nationalism to claim that our rights come from God. And it seemed to be this one-off thing, but it's not. Tim Kaine is an Ivy League-educated lawyer who is in the United States Senate from Virginia, and yesterday he said this.
The notion that rights don't come from laws and don't come from the government, but come from the Creator, that's what the Iranian government believes. It's a theocratic regime that bases its rule on Shia law and targets Sunnis, Baha'is, Jews, Christians, and other religious minorities. And they do it because they believe that they understand what natural rights are from their Creator. So the statement that our rights do not come from our laws or our governments is extremely troubling.
Yeah, okay, so I have found the tweet, by the way, from this reporter. Let me just play you this audio from her. This is Heidi Presbella, who was a political reporter, who said this.
The one thing that unites all of them, because there's many different groups orbiting Trump, but the thing that unites them as Christian nationalists, not Christians, by the way, because Christian nationalists is very different, is that they believe that our rights as Americans, as all human beings, don't come from any earthly authority. They don't come from Congress. They don't come from the Supreme Court. They come from God.
Got that? That not Christians, but Christian nationalists. Thomas Jefferson, Ben Franklin, John Adams sat together as a committee to write the Declaration of Independence, and they came up with that line about our rights coming from God. And now you have these people on the left insisting that somehow our rights have to come from government. This is John Adams. His dissertation on the canon and feudal law. This was written in 1765 by the second president of the United States while he was a colonial lawyer. He participated in the committee that drafted the Declaration of Independence. He participated in the Second Continental Congress. This is John Adams. The poor people, it is true, have been much less successful than the great. They have seldom found either leisure or opportunity to form a union and exert their strength. Ignorant as they were of arts and letters, they have seldom been able to frame and support a regular opposition. This, however, has been known by the great to be the temper of mankind, and they have accordingly labored in all ages to wrest from the populace, as they are contemptuously called, the knowledge of their rights and wrongs, and the power to assert the former and redress the latter. I say rights, for such they have undoubtedly antecedent, that is, before all earthly government, rights that cannot be repealed or restrained by human laws, rights derived from the great legislator of the universe. You got that? Rights that cannot be repealed or restrained by human law, rights derived from the great legislator of the universe. I say rights antecedent to all earthly government. Antecedent means to precede all earthly government. Rights there at the beginning of time. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal and they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable human rights. Among these, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. And here comes Tim Kaine, the senator from Virginia, where Thomas Jefferson was a governor and a member of the Second Continental Congress.
The notion that rights don't come from laws and don't come from the government, but come from the Creator, that's what the Iranian government believes. It's a theocratic regime that bases its rule on Shia law and targets Sunnis, Baha'is, Jews, Christians, and other religious minorities. And they do it because they believe that they understand what natural rights are from their Creator. So the statement that our rights do not come from our laws or our governments is extremely troubling.
He says it's extremely troubling. I think it's extremely troubling that he believes our rights come from the government. But also, by the way, it's worth noting that he doesn't actually understand the Iranian government. He doesn't actually understand the Ayatollah Khomeini. Let me read to you from the Ayatollah Khomeini. Anyone who rules over the Muslims or over human society in general must always take into consideration the public welfare and interest and ignore personal feelings and interests. For this reason, Islam is prepared to subordinate individuals to the collective interest of society and has rooted out numerous groups that were a source of collection and harm to human society. Since the Jews were a troublesome group causing corruption in Muslim societies and damaging Islam and the Islamic State, the most noble messenger eliminated them. That's political theory, according to the Imam. There are no natural rights there. Natural rights don't exist in Iran. The idea that rights come from God is not Islamic jihadism. It's actually essential to Western political thought. In fact, the view that Tim Kaine is arguing for is more akin to Islam and the Iranian theocracy than the view of natural rights coming from God. It's really wild, then, to hear this stuff. In fact, by the way, it is a progressive ideology that believes rights come from God. This is Carl Becker articulating the progressive view in 1922. To ask if the natural rights philosophy of the Declaration of Independence is true or false is essentially a meaningless question. In other words, to him, nothing is right or wrong by nature. Natural law is actually embedded within Christianity. Yet natural law is embedded within Christianity, but it's also foundational to the American Republic. Now, for those of you who would ask me, what's your proof text for natural law, Erickson? For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who by their unrighteousness suppress the truth. For what can be known about God is plain to them, because God has shown it to them. For his invisible attributes, namely his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly perceived ever since the creation of the world in the things that have been made, so they are without excuse. For although they knew God, they did not honor him as God or give thanks to him, but they became futile in their thinking, and their foolish hearts were darkened. Claiming to be wise, they became fools and exchanged the glory of the immortal God for images resembling mortal man and birds and animals and creeping things. Therefore God gave them up in their lusts of their hearts to impurity, to the dishonoring of their bodies among themselves, because they exchanged the truth about God for a lie, and worshipped and served the creature rather than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. That's Paul writing in Romans 1. Natural law is woven within the fabric and thinking of Western civilization, and in particular Christian thought that even helped advance the Enlightenment. I really, when Heidi Presbala from Politico advanced the idea that it was Christian nationalists, not Christians, but Christian nationalists who believed our rights came from God, I thought that was just a one-off fluke from a moron. But having a senator from the United States who represents the state in which Thomas Jefferson was a member of the Second Continental Congress, for which he wrote the Declaration of Independence, and also the Declaration of the Rights, not the Declaration of the Rights, man, the Virginia religious statutes and stuff, that actually very much make clear that our rights come from God. This is massive historic revision from a U.S. senator. You've got a reporter. It's not an anomalous thing. The left really believes that your rights come from the government. Side note here. There is a strain of progressivism on the right these days, too, you know. And these same people kind of articulate the same thing, that who are we to say China's wrong? In fact, there's a wild fixation on this progressive right about China, because China makes the trains run on time, and China gets stuff built, and China can suppress portions of their society who are troublesome to the plans of the state. Listen, you got to acknowledge it. Let's be intellectually consistent and honest here. But that's a minority position. It seems to be a growing majority position on the left that our rights come from the government. This is something we're going to have to deal with for this reason. If your rights come from government and not God, government can take your rights away. It's very simple calculus. If your rights come from government, government can take them away. What the founders argued, the whole purpose of the revolution, was that the English Bill of Rights had, during the Glorious Revolution, established the rights of Englishmen, and it was an articulation of God-given rights put on paper. And because the colonists were actually Englishmen, they deserved those rights, but not those rights because they were in the Bill of Rights of Great Britain, but because they were an articulation of the natural rights of man given to them by God. And when the old regime, the king, refused to recognize their natural rights, it was time to throw off the old and get something new. And what was the new thing to do? To give them their old rights, the rights given to them by God. It's why historians have largely agreed, left, right, and center, that the American Revolution was a conservative revolution, because it was not trying to do something new. It was trying to go back to something old. It was trying to go back to the natural rights articulated in the English Bill of Rights from the Glorious Revolution. The French Revolution wanted something new. It wanted to throw off the whole regime. It wanted to create something new. It wanted to establish new rights. What the American founders argued is that our rights came from God. They predate government. This is a very basic institutional 101 issue for American civilization. My gosh, Tim Kaine needs to take a Hillsdale College class on the Constitution. This is very, and I realize I'm preaching to the crowd on this, but I need you guys to understand. I really did think that Heidi Preswell woman, she's just an idiot. Tim Kaine is not an idiot. He actually is a well-educated person whose brain has been polluted and poisoned by progressivism, who now believes that our rights come from the government, and if they do, the government can take them away. And that is a very, very dangerous proposition none of us should embrace.
Those who love him, listen to find out what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen to see what he's going to say next. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
149 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. 2 trouble spots between Marietta and Kennesaw. We got trouble I-75 northbound, right around North Marietta Parkway, exit number 265, blocking at least 1 lane, slow in the ride. Once you get past that, tractor trailer in the woods, 75 north. Chastain Road, exit 271. Avoid it all. Use the express lanes or Highway 41. Traffic brought to you by Peach Pass. Life doesn't slow down, and neither can you. With Peach Pass, you save time, cruise by traffic, and use your Peach Pass in 20 states, including Georgia. Visit peachpass.com and keep moving. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
The Bulldogs are 1-0 and take the field again this Saturday.
Toss to the back, and that is Phillips.
Tune in as 4th-ranked Georgia hits the gridiron against Austin Peay.
Phillips will break a tackle at the 8.
Your full day of Bulldogs programming begins at 11:30 a.m.
Sprint into the end zone for the first touchdown of the year.
Only on your home of the Dogs, 95.5 WSB. Brought to you in part by Hoffman Financial Group, official partner of the Georgia Bulldogs.
Attention men, does ED and PE have you down? Well, great news. Choice Men's Health has the latest breakthrough treatments that can get you up and running. Meet the specialist who is dedicated to helping you perform better than ever in the bedroom.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Our custom treatment plans have a 98% success rate at improving ED and PE on your very first visit, even if Viagra and Cialis have failed. Regardless of your age and medical history, we are here and dedicated to help you regain your love life.
Don't wait. Call Choice Men's Health now. We are so confident we can help. For a limited time, we're offering to cover your first treatment for free. Call 404-400-1170. Call now to claim your free treatment. 404-400-1170. Results guaranteed on your first visit or it's free. 404-400-1170. Choice Men's Health, the only choice for your health.
This is Andy Harris, president of Coosa Valley Credit Union, inviting you to come see us for your auto loan needs. If you're buying a car or refinancing your current auto loan, at Coosa Valley Credit Union, you'll get one of the lowest interest rates in the market, as low as 3.49 APR when you open an account with a direct deposit. Coosa Valley Credit Union is local and nearby in Northwest Georgia. Plus, you'll always speak to a real person when dealing with us. That's what we call kinder banking.
Contact 706-235-8551 for more details. Equal Opportunity Lender.
Just because there's so many window choices doesn't mean they're all good choices.
All windows are not created equal.
It's Ted and Jonathan from North Georgia Replacement Windows. And vinyl composite windows? They're a thing of the past.
Infinity from Marvin fiberglass windows are beautiful, not big and bulky, and 8 times stronger than vinyl.
Experience the difference at your home or in our Alpharetta showroom.
Infinity from Marvin Replacement Windows, yeah!
Do you have mystery stains on your carpet? Call Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Right now, clean more, save more, and save up to $30. Mention WSB to secure this deal today. Schedule online at ZerorezAtlanta.com. Zerorez, it's the right way to clean.
Hi, I'm Dallas, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. You know she loves her Shane Company engagement ring, but you also want to surprise her for her birthday, anniversary, or just because she deserves it. Why not get her a bigger diamond with our easy trade up program? We'll give you the full credit of your original natural diamond purchase toward a new one. Her new diamond only has to be $1 more. You only pay the difference. How's that for an easy trade up? Visit us in store or at shaneco.com. Because a friend wants you to win the gifting game. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Did you know that 30% of all heart attacks, the very first symptom is sudden death? Virtual Imaging is offering a $49 heart scan. Take advantage of this offer now by visiting virtualimagingatl.com.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Greetings. Welcome. I want to make you think for a moment, if you'll allow. The Justice Department is deliberating banning guns for transgendered people as part of a range of options blocking mentally unstable individuals from committing acts of violence. My gut reaction is transgenderism is a mental health issue, and mentally ill people shouldn't have guns. Bet many of you agree with me. The law actually says unless a person is adjudged mentally ill, they can't be stopped from gun ownership because it's a constitutional right. This is one of those things where you and I can talk about it and say, yeah, great idea, but you got to think about the Constitution. The same way that Tim Kaine doesn't think that our rights come from God, our Second Amendment right is a right bound to our Constitution. You can't deny someone access to a firearm because you or I think they're mentally ill. They have to be adjudged mentally ill. I don't think that the Trump administration can do this under the law. It sounds like something they would want to do, but we do have laws in this country. And those of us who take the Second Amendment seriously as a right under our Constitution should not be rushing to embrace denying people's rights without due process. It's a dangerous, dangerous ground on which to tread. And the Justice Department, I think, will be thrown out of court if they try to do this without having individuals adjudged mentally ill first. Now, to the phones. Dan, I want to go to you. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
This is David.
Oh, David, welcome. Sorry.
From Jacksonville. Yeah. You know, I have not looked at the Declaration of Independence since I can not remember. I mean, I can't remember. But, you know, I was just thinking about something. You can be an atheist and believe that you have, inalienable or undeniable rights. So if your creator is we just appeared out of a poof, so to speak, well, okay. But what this is saying is that we believe they would come from God, but you can also say, we are endowed, with these rights because we're human beings.
Yes.
And that governments are instituted among people, and they derive their powers from the consent of the people. And I think what's happened is a lot of people have forgotten that.
Yeah.
We are born with inalienable, undeniable rights as human beings. That's the difference in us and England.
Yeah. By the way, it's the difference between us and a communist regime. A communist regime very specifically believes that it is the collective people through government that issue rights. It is a distinctly Western political thought that comes from really Romans 1 in the New Testament, that our rights come from God. It is the communist regimes that actually believe that our rights are derived from a collective group of people acting through government. And that's where progressives are today. That's where Tim Kaine is, rejecting the founding ideals of the country for progressive quasi-communist thought. It's just wild to see a guy from Virginia do that. Now, let me tell you about Old Glory Bank. They have some tools available for you if you're educating your kids on finances. The tools are completely free. You go to oldglorybank.com/smart. You can see them for yourself. They have guides on how to bank, how to save money, how to invest money, how to budget, how to manage your spending. All these things are available at oldglorybank.com/smart, and they are completely free for you to use with your kids as part of a homeschool curriculum or just in conversation around the table. oldglorybank.com/smart. And then if you're ready to get a bank account for your kids, You go to oldglorybank.com, you sign up. You can go to oldglorybank.com/smart. There's a sign-up link there. You can get a custodial account for your kids that have no fees. You can do a checking account, savings account. Your business can get an account there. They've got great business managers. If you're trying to grow your business with Old Glory Bank, all you do is go to oldglorybank.com/smart. Start there. All the curriculum available. It's free. oldglorybank.com/smart. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
Why do you always go after the game show host of The Price is
He's
Right?
your co-pilot for the ride
Don't
home.
tell me how to handle my life.
Eric Von Hessler.
Or anyone else.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
News, weather,
Traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. faces the fire today over vaccine policies and turmoil at the CDC.
You are a hazard to the health of the American people. I think that you ought to resign.
Georgia Senator Raphael Warnock at a Capitol Hill hearing. Kennedy addresses the recent shakeup at the Atlanta-based CDC.
We need bold, competent, and creative new leadership at CDC. People able and willing to chart a new course.
Kennedy says we're the sickest country in the world, which is why he says he had to fire people at the CDC. It is 86 degrees in Atlanta. Isolated showers and storms around this afternoon. Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. A bizarre twist as firefighters respond to a house fire in Locust Grove today. Police Chief Derek Austin says they initially went in to contain the fire.
They forced entry into the house to try to extinguish the fire, and they were encountered by a male suspect armed with a large knife.
After repeatedly ignoring their demands and being tased, the man is shot and killed by police. Officers then discover the burned body of a woman upstairs and find the suspect's grandmother, sister, and a child hiding in a closet. Appalachia High School marks 1 year since the tragic shooting left 2 students and 2 teachers dead. The Barrow County community says healing is an ongoing process.
Kira McConaughey was a senior at Appalachia at the time of the shooting. Now in college, she says her experience has changed her perspective.
I am very aware of my surroundings, whether it is seeing how the doors do not lock at college campuses, asking my professor if we do drills.
Layla Contreras, whose mother and sister were at the school during the shooting, says,
"We will not forget. We will not stop. And together, we will keep moving forward."
Other remembrances are planned in Barrow County today. From the state capitol, Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
The Justice Department is reportedly opening a criminal investigation into Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook over alleged mortgage fraud. It's related to properties owned by Cook, one of which is in Atlanta. Officials have started issuing subpoenas here in Georgia and in Michigan. Happening now, a celebration of life at Roswell Street Baptist Church to honor a well-known pastor.
Dr. Nelson Price led the Marietta Church for 35 years. Under his leadership, Roswell Street Baptist Church grew from 700 members to 10,000 and became one of the nation's earliest megachurches. Price wrote for the Marietta Daily Journal for nearly 6 decades and authored 20 books. He ministered to leaders including President Jimmy Carter and served as the Southern Baptist Convention's vice president. Price was 94. Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
It's now 2:02. This news is sponsored by Brett Beckers. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
So you're losing your hair and you need a simple solution that works, but you want the best. It's Mark Aram here. Modern technology, top-rated physicians. You want something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need advanced hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration, from the experience itself to the unmatched results they produce. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, address them all with a simple one-day treatment in a calm, relaxed environment with experienced pros. Advanced Hair has performed tens of thousands of breakthrough advanced FUE treatments, and get this, your own natural hair begins to regrow the very next day. No one else in Atlanta can offer the advanced FUE found at Advanced Hair. Fix your hair loss today, starting with your free consultation, and you'll also get $500 off if you move forward. Call 470-660-HAIR. Refine your hairline with the team that's redefined hair restoration. And don't forget to ask about that Advanced Hair Guarantee, 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
What you walk on in your home should be wonderful.
Hi, I'm Michael, proud founder of Authentic Hardwood Flooring. You want new floors, but you're putting it off because you don't want the mess. We'll make it painless and keep it clean. We'll move your furniture, wrap your cabinets, and cover everything. We'll even use special filters to remove the dust. Our promise is to make your flooring process painless. Our focus is to make it perfect.
Authentic Hardwood Flooring offers high-quality craftsmanship with an exceptional customer experience. AuthenticHardwoodFlooring.com.
It's not going away. That spot you're trying to ignore in the ceiling, yep, it was there last week. It was there last month, and it's only going to get worse. Hey, it's Dave Baker, host of the Home Fix-It Show, for my experts at Finley Roofing, the roof guys. Everything you own and love lives under your roof, and it's long overdue to be replaced. So think of Finley first. Now that Finley has 0% financing available, it's even easier to stop procrastinating and get your roof replaced. Finley has installed over 65,000 roofs locally, including mine. They've mastered the roof replacement process with impeccable, high-quality work. Finley's seen it all and replaced it all. That's why Finley stands behind their work with a lifetime warranty on labor and materials at no additional cost. Nobody else does that. So now with 0% financing available, get started today with a Finley Roofing free roof analysis. FinleyRoofing.com.
It's 2:05, time for live team coverage of traffic and weather in the 24-hour traffic center. Alex Williams.
Travel advisory between Marietta and Kennesaw, Bill, with a tractor trailer in the woods. 75 north before Chastain Road, exit 271, right lane blocked. A lot of work to do here. You're jammed up from South Marietta Parkway. Use Highway 41 or the express lanes with a Peach Pass. All lanes blocked and reopened. 85 south past Georgia 400. Stall moved off to the right there. And a long-standing crash still on the right lane into cab. We need some help here. I-20 westbound, Panola Road, exit 71. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad, and it's headed to 87 this afternoon. That's our average high this time of year. Partly cloudy with some isolated showers and storms. Rain chance 30%. Mostly sunny, hot and dry tomorrow. Low 70, high 92.
85 in Dallas, 84 in Lawrenceville, 85 in Hampton. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
It's the WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. This hour's keyword is magic. MAGIC.
Do you believe in magic in a young girl's heart? How the music can free.
Go to the WSB Radio app or WSBRadio.com/cash for your chance to win. Again, that keyword is
I'll tell you about the magic and the free your soul.
magic. Join me live at 3 for the Von Hessler Doctrine, and I'll have your next keyword and chance to win at 5 p.m.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States of America. Delighted to have you with me. The phone number, 877-973-7425. Well, to begin this hour, we need to talk about something. I'll try not to make it awkward. It's about that S word, 3 letters. Starts with an S, ends with an X. Middle letter is E. Yeah, that one. Because progressives don't seem to be doing a lot of it. And to the extent that they are procreating, they're killing their offspring with abortions. So the other day I was talking about this, that conservatives intend to be happier than progressives. Conservatives who go to church are the longest lived Americans. Now, I'm not making that up, by the way. This is data that blows everyone's mind when you tell them about it, but it's actually been well researched by secular academics across the world. Lots of studies published on it that people who go to church and who believe that the Bible is the Word of God tend to be more conservative. They also live longer. It turns out if you put your faith in a higher power and you surround yourself with a community of believers, you live longer. You take joy in Jesus, you're going to live longer than someone who is driven to despair by a secular world. But also, birth rates are falling around the world. But the conservative reproductive rate is higher than the progressive reproductive rate. There's still, so the 2.4 is the number. That's the birth rate number, and I realize it's kind of dumb to talk about your 2.4 kids, but the 2.4 is the match rate for reproduction. Number of people born equals the number of people dying. 2.4 is where you want to be, or higher. In the developed world, conservative birth rate is at 2. The progressive birth rate is at 1.6. Globally, by the way, or I'm sorry, in the United States, it's at 2.4 conservatives. For progressives, it is about 1.6. In other words, conservatives are giving birth at a rate that displaces population, and progressives give birth at a rate that declines population. In other words, more conservative families are giving birth and having larger families than progressives. And I see this in my own life, in my church community, and among my friends. The number of friends I have who have multiple children who are conservative is disproportionately higher than the number of friends I have who are progressive and have no kids or just a single kid. Maybe 2 if they're pushing it, but certainly no talk of more than 2. And, of course, with progressives as well, there's this entire baggage as well that should we bring more people into this world that's dying? Now, you know, as an aside here, particularly if you're in church, a Bible-believing church, you take seriously God saying be fruitful and multiply. If you're a Catholic, if you are an ardent, true believing Catholic, you probably come from a large family. I got a buddy of mine who he's got 4 brothers and sisters. And his middle brother got married 5 years ago and now has 3 kids. His wife has been pregnant for most of their marriage. And by the way, they're not miserable. They're super happy. They love it. They're kind of miserable right now because they got a bunch of little rugrats running around and they can't get any sleep. But they love it. They believe it's their obligation. Be fruitful and multiply. Progressives, however, they're upset about global warming, and they rot their children with anxieties over the state of the planet. I mean, we've got what we're all dead now. I don't know if you know this or not, but you're actually dead right now. They told us 10 years ago we had 10 years to live, and then we were all going to die because of global warming. I mean, tax cuts killed us. Net neutrality killed us. Modifying Obamacare killed us, and global warming killed us. We are all like dead multiple times over. Like we keep being dug up and killed again by global warming. It's just wild that you don't even realize you're dead. But the left told us that we're all going to die because of global warming. You've got these neurologically imbalanced kids out there on the left these days. And by the way, there's something demonic about it too when you have all these people who believe their kids are trans and they're going to pump them full of drugs that ultimately sterilize them. And you've got the progressive pediatricians out there saying, oh, no, these drugs, they don't cause lasting harm. And then the kid decides, I actually don't want to be the dude. I want to go back to being a girl. They can't have kids. Or the guy decides he wants to be a girl and transitions back and says, thank goodness I didn't chop it off, but it doesn't work anymore because you've been sterilized. It is remarkable what progressives are doing to themselves. That they and again, you know, I read to you the Romans 1, instead of worshiping the Creator, they worship creation, and they are obsessed with saving the planet. Saving the planet at the expense of humanity is ultimately what it boils down to. Side note, you know what's going to happen too? So conservatives are replenishing, are at a birth rate replenishment level. Now, that does not mean your kid is going to be conservative. I was talking to a very famous theologian. Well, I don't mind telling you. Tim Keller. I was talking to Tim Keller before he died. And I produced a pilot series of me in conversation with people, particularly people of faith, about life and raising kids and stuff. And I wanted to interview Tim and Kathy Keller. And I emailed Tim, and Tim said, well, talk to Kathy, because I wanted Kathy to be in the interview as well. And Kathy wrote me back. She says, Tim has never, nor will Tim ever, preach or write books on how to raise your kids. And we're very sorry. Thank you for thinking of us. But on this topic, both of us have made decisions. We're not going to talk about this topic. But wow, I mean, Tim Keller writes books about all these theological topics. And he doesn't want to write a book about raising your kids. And Tim and I were talking later about it. He says, yeah, I mean, all of our friends who raise kids have had them in church every week, and a lot of them are atheists now. And our kids, says, I'm completely committed to Reformed theology because of raising kids. Like, I'm a preacher. Our kids, I think some of them grew up and they had problems growing up, and they all came to the Lord. And some of our friends who were godly people and raised their kids in the church and did all the stuff you're supposed to do, all their kids are atheists or super liberal. He says, this is a God thing. It's not a me thing. I can't write a book about it. It's such a God thing. I was very impressed with it. In fact, somebody told me one of his sons, who will go nameless, who I know, went off to university, and people were like, oh my gosh, it's Tim Keller's son. Turned out, surprise, he's an atheist, or at least very agnostic, and ultimately came to know the Lord in college. Tim Keller's son. Those of you who don't know Tim Keller is the most famous Protestant theologian of the late 20th, early 21st century. Tim Keller was exceedingly famous. Tim Keller was not a dear friend of mine, but he was a friend. We had a wonderful relationship, and I miss him dearly. And occasionally listen to one of his podcasts. You can get his Gospel for Life podcast. It's one of the few podcasts I listen to, and it's Tim's sermons. They go way back to the late 1990s, and every single one of them is so good. Every single one of them. And I have on more than one occasion fired off a text, and it just kills me when the bubble goes green. It's like, oh, you're not there. But yeah, I mean, this is the thing. The way that conservatives are misinterpreting this, and this gets to this whole tangent on Tim, is just because you're a conservative and you have kids does not mean your kid is going to be conservative. But there's a better chance of your child being conservative if you as a conservative have a kid than a progressive has of producing a progressive, when all the progressives, they're not having kids. They're not procreating. And progressives are disproportionately having abortions. So to the extent they procreate, they kill the kid instead of actually giving birth to the kid, and it limits the number of progressives on the planet. You know, ironically, who the most conservative people are and where this country is heading, and this will infuriate the progressives as much as it'll infuriate the white nationalists out there. We're headed towards a country that is a group of predominantly Hispanic country music listening redneck conservatives who are the most highly reproducing people in this country. Protestant Hispanics who are conservatives. By the way, if you're a Hispanic person and you left the Catholic Church to Protestantism, you're really, really a winger. You are solidly conservative. And you're also the most likely to have large families, the most likely to be conservative, the most likely to have your kids become conservative. And y'all listen to country music and you drive big trucks. Y'all are my people. You got Taco Tuesday every day of the week. I love you so much. I do not understand the disdain for Hispanic people in this country by some on the right. I understand the disdain for illegal immigration, but my gosh, conservative Hispanic people are the greatest people on planet Earth. They have the best cooks in the house. They have large families. They drive giant trucks, and they're phenomenal. We don't talk enough about Hispanic moms cooking. Side note. Sorry, get off on the tangents. I'm hungry and I missed Taco Tuesday, so I have Taco Thursday. But nonetheless, I digress. We're going to be a nation of Hispanic country music listening conservatives who go to a Protestant church because that's demographically where we're headed as a country. Now, demography is not destiny. I say that all the time. You can be a conservative. That was my tangent on Tim Keller. He's a world famous theologian who continues to be a bestseller despite having passed away a couple of years ago. And his kids went off to college. They all came to faith, but none of them went to college of the faith. And as he told me, like he and his wife didn't talk about it because a lot of their friends whose kids went off to college became progressive atheists. So you can't control it, but you have more control if you have the kids. And this is where things are going to head, because progressives are so dominant in culture. Right now, at least, progressives are dominant in culture. I can predict to you something that's going to happen. Not hard to make this prediction. Progressives who aren't having kids are going to get old, and they're not going to have a social support group. So you know what's going to happen? More demand for social service programs from government to take care of them. That's what's going to happen. And also the increasing use of euthanasia for them. As they get old, lonely, and bored, they decide to commit suicide, and they're going to want the government to pay for it. They're going to want active euthanasia programs from the government. That's where progressivism is going to head. We're seeing it in other countries. We're seeing it in some states in this country. We're going to see it nationalized as progressives decide there's no social support network for them. There's no point in going on. But that's a choice they made. We shouldn't subsidize the choice for them to kill themselves. I'm a profound opponent in assisted suicide, and I got to tell you, I have friends who have had loved ones decline and die, and they saw the process and thought, you know what, I think I don't want to put my family through that. And I got to tell you, it's a ministry to your family, and I don't mean this cruelly, for you to wither and die before their eyes instead of choosing when to opt out. It allows them to come to terms with your pending death. But for the left, their embrace of euthanasia doesn't have anything to do with I've got a terminal disease, I don't want my family to suffer. It has to do with I'm bored of life, time to go, because I don't have a social safety net. They're gonna try to profoundly change public policy, and conservatives are going to have to hold the line on this. It is a profound upending of our society for progressives to not be having kids. And by the way, it's not a bad thing. It definitely shows you the trend lines of where society is headed, and that's, frankly, back to God and getting the government out of our lives, and that's a good thing. Progressivism has not done the world a lot of good, and it's not doing progressives a lot of good. It's leaving them lonely and childless as they grow up.
When the truth seems hazy, Eric will clear the way. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
221 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Travel advisory between Marietta and Kennesaw. Big rig in the woods. Right lane block 75 northbound. Chastain Road exit 271. You're jammed up out of Marietta. Use Highway 41 or the express lanes. Long-standing crash and still not any help with it. Right lane blocked. I-20 westbound. Panola Road exit 71 in DeKalb County. Traffic brought to you by Georgia United Credit Union. Dreaming of a home upgrade? A home equity line of credit from Georgia United Credit Union can make it happen. Visit dreams.gucu.org today. Georgia United is an equal housing lender. Also want to throw in there, we also got a crash up by the Mall of Georgia, really jamming up Highway 20 Beaver Drive. It's in the northbound lanes at Mall of Georgia Boulevard. Left lane and a left turn lane are blocked. You're slow back toward Old Peachtree Road. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It's the WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. This hour's keyword is magic. M-A-G-I-C.
Do you believe in magic in a young girl's heart? How the music can free.
Go to the WSB Radio app or WSBRadio.com/cash for your chance to win. Again, that keyword is
I'll tell you about the magic and the free your soul.
magic. Join me live at 3 for the Von Hessler Doctrine, and I'll have your next keyword and chance to win at 5 p.m.
This is Mike Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers.
And this is Jonathan Geller. Dad, we're celebrating 86 years in Atlanta this month. What's been your favorite part of D. Geller & Son?
It's all about the people. We've been part of 3 generations of proposals, weddings, anniversaries, and more. People trust us for great jewelry that lasts a lifetime.
And what about all the connections we've built in the jewelry industry? I've met diamond cutters you've known longer than you've known me.
Well, we started as wholesale manufacturers in 1939. We've always had access to diamonds, gemstones, and jewelry straight from the source. That's why nobody's been able to beat our prices for 86 years.
It all comes down to the best jewelry, best service, and best prices at D. Geller & Son, Atlanta's most trusted jeweler since 1939. In Kennesaw, Sandy Springs, and online at dgeller.com.
Cue the jingle!
Affordable jewelry for everyone is at D. Geller & Son.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-575-2798.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-2798. That's 800-575-2798.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
It's Home Show time! Dave Baker here, and it's time for the Fall Atlanta Home Show, September 5th through 7th at the Cobb Galleria Center. 3 days full of great tips and practical advice from over 200 local experts. For more info and to save money on your tickets, go to FallAtlantaHomeshow.com.
I've always wanted to learn French, but the app I tried didn't help.
If you want to memorize words in another language, there's an app for that. But if you want to really learn another language, there's Babbel. Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different. Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Babbel feels like it was created intentionally by people who really know what you need to learn another language. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Want to really learn another language? Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com to save up to 50%. Babbel.com.
Your non-stop news source. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
When traffic hits.
I-75 completely shut down north and south between McDonough and Locust Grove.
The Triple Team Traffic Center has you covered.
Brake lights fill in on 316 westbound at Sugarloaf Parkway.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
Heavy police fire department activity.
Brought to you by the Cool Ray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. All the information without the spin. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Hello there. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number, 877-973-7425, should you wish to be on the program. I'll take your phone calls here in a minute. This is a short segment. Here's a story you're not going to hear on your local news, but it's true. In Viterbo, Italy, last night, 2 Turkish men, armed with machine guns, planned to open fire on a crowd of 40,000 Catholic Christians who were gathered to celebrate the feast day of St. Rose. The men had already set up their weapons in a rented apartment looking out over the square. They were waiting for the procession to arrive so they could kill as many people as possible. The police, however, were tipped off, stormed the building, and stopped them. Islamic terrorists in Italy wanting to rain fire down on 40,000 Christians in a town square.